The Chicago Bears are finally playing at Soldier Field this year for the first preseason game for them and their only home preseason game due to the schedule to take on Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. This will be Caleb Williams' first home game as a Chicago Bears quarterback, which I personally think is massive and is a must-need this preseason for the rookie to understand Soldier Field and its conditions. Not only that, it's a huge day for fans and not just for Williams, but Matt Eberflus announced that in Thursday's joint practice with the Bengals that the starters will be playing this Saturday against the Bengals. Followed by Cole Kmet spilling the beans that the Bears will be playing at least a quarter for the starters. And that's some pretty good news because that's a ton of playing time with Cincinnati potentially not even playing any of their starters. We also got great news on Kyler Gordon and some other players, and they are 100% back moving forward. Everything is sky high for the Bears right now, and I'm excited to break it all down for you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, thank you for tuning in. So I'm here to break down the Bears' third preseason game against the Cincinnati Bengals, and it's going to be a good one. Today's agenda, and I'm starting with breaking down why this is such a big game for Caleb Williams, followed by the overall breakdown of the team and what to expect, my predictions, and we have a new segment for you for fantasy football users, Fantasy on the Fly with Dan Richmond. Stay tuned, and I'm excited to break it all down. And we are about to give away that custom Chicago Bears jersey to one lucky viewer. In order to enter, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment "Da Bears" in the comment section below. Winner will be announced at 5 p.m. Central Time today on the community page. So starting off with rookie quarterback Caleb Williams, guys, this game is absolutely massive for him for a variety of reasons. Because one, he's coming off a huge debut game against the Buffalo Bills, where he led the offense to having over 140 total yards of offense, 108 of them coming from him individually, 95 passing yards and 13 rushing yards. He looked fantastic against arguably a top 5 secondary in 2023 in the Buffalo Bills. But for Williams, this game is crucial to continue to progress and move forward because Soldier Field is a tough place to play, not only for the home team, but because of the fact that it is a tough condition place. Williams has not gotten a chance to see it yet because there was no family day this year for the Chicago Bears, which was a joke in my personal opinion. This is why you own your own stadium, so you don't have to be kicked out by the park district because, oh, we have a concert going on. We couldn't have one going on this time. And this was key for Caleb Williams. So this game is huge for him to get back into the action and understand what Soldier Field is like. Not only that, this game could continue and will continue to build his confidence. One good game at a time. He had a good game against the Buffalo Bills. And if he can do it again, especially in front of the Chicago home crowd, he is going to boost his energy even more. He will mentally know that he can do it. He can have back-to-back good games in the NFL. And also the high of the home crowd cheering him on and the energy that he's going to feel as an individual is going to be absolutely massive. So this game is really exciting for him. And quickly, also, he's just locked in, guys. He looked so good against the Cincinnati Bengals in practice at Hallis Hall. He's looked good ever since that Buffalo Bills game. He continues to progress. And I just got to tip my cap over there to Shane Waldron. I've said it a countless amount of times so far this offseason, but he is doing a fantastic job as the Chicago Bears offensive coordinator. In 3.5 months as the Bears offensive coordinator, actually being able to work with the guys and understand his playbook, he has looked better than Luke Getsy and Matt Nagy did in the last 6 years. So this is just overall really great stuff by Shane Waldron and Caleb Williams. They both understood their assignments, what they have to do in order to make the Chicago Bears offense great. And I'm very, very excited for this upcoming Saturday's game against the Bengals because I'm hoping to see it continue forward. And quickly, I am going to the Cincinnati Bengals game tomorrow at Soldier Field, so I hope to see you guys there. Or if you're watching on Saturday, I hope to see you guys there today. I will be on the north side of the field, and I'll be with Rashad from the Windy City Productions, chilling in the north end zone before the game. We'd love to meet some of you guys. Make sure that you comment below if you're going. Reach out to us on Twitter or anything like that. We'd love to see you guys. So quickly more into what to expect from the Cincinnati Bengals preseason game. Well, from the Bengals perspective, according to head coach Zach Taylor, most of the starters, if not none of them, will not be playing. There'll be no Jamar Chase, no Joe Burrow, and with some new injuries this past week to the Bengals, I don't blame them. This team is super talented. They have a lot of things going for them, and if they continue to bang up the injuries, it's not going to be good for overall for this team. They have a lot of potential. They need to stay healthy and walk into the season as a whole. Also, we might get to see, though, Trey Hendrickson, an edge that Bears fans want Ryan Poles to go after and trade for. He's likely not to play, but there was no denial even when asked if he was going to play. I would like to see it. Maybe Poles finally gets that itch, like, yep, I got to go out and get this guy because he is under a contract for 2 more years. I got the trade pieces to go out and get him. Let's get it done and build a Super Bowl contender for the next couple of years. But overall, you're going to see a lot of 2s and 3s from Cincinnati. That's what it is from that standpoint. And then what also is really exciting now going over to the Bears is that Rome Odunze is likely going to get more playing time, even if Caleb Williams is not on the field. You know, he had a huge week of practice this week, looked really solid, was breaking ankles all across the board. And then also it's very key for him to know what Soldier Field is like as well. This is a tough place to play. It is a tough stadium in order to just walk into and, you know, make plays. And from a wide receiver standpoint, different grip, different type of speed. You have to understand that. Big for Rome, and I'm excited for him. And I think that he is going to get more playing time because he was only targeted 1 time against the Buffalo Bills. So something to consider moving forward into this game. Not only that, Rome will be playing longer. That likely means that DJ Moore and Keenan Allen will only be out there for maybe the first drive, maybe 2 drives. But these guys both just want to play football. The veterans are excited about this team. They look good. The offense is flowing. It'd be good for Caleb Williams as well. But at the end of the day, I don't see them playing very long. But it is going to be exciting when they are out on the field. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. The big topic of conversation for the offense, besides Nate Davis, which I'll get to in a second, is the running back room. This is going to be big for this room, especially with how packed it's become over the last couple of weeks with the competition. Your only 2 locks at the moment, in my personal opinion, are DeAndre Swift and Rashawn Johnson. They are locked, they're loaded, they're paid, they're on rookie contracts. They're good to go. And they're some of our better running backs. Not saying Khalil Herbert isn't, but he is a trade bait target at the moment. Then on top of it, you have Velus Jones Jr., who joins that room trying to make a fight for this roster to try to work somewhere and use his athleticism anywhere on this field. So it's going to be interesting to see from that perspective. Then you had Ian Wheeler with the huge game against the Buffalo Bills. They brought him on to Hard Knocks. Everyone loves him. It's going to be tough. And if he has another big game, he's going to make things very interesting, considering he is an undrafted rookie free agent and the Bears don't have to pay him all that much. And then Travis Homer, who's a cap casualty, is going to have to play really well in order to continue to make this roster. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see what's going on here. And I expect Khalil Herbert to play a lot because of the fact that his trade value will go up if he has a good game. And the Bengals, who need running back help, also have Trey Hendrickson. Things could go in the right direction. I'm not saying the Bears can get him, guys, but if there's an offer too good to refuse for the Bengals, they got to take it. On top of that, too, going into the offensive line, Nate Davis is expected to be a 100% participant in this game, not playing the entire time, but will be running with the runs. He's had 3 really good practices in a row since coming back, and it's a big game for him, too. If he can win over the fans a little bit more, it creates a little bit less tension, at least from a Chicago Bears Twitter perspective, I think. So I'm excited to see Nate Davis back out there. On top of it, too, you got Coleman Shelton, who's been consistently running with the ones at center. So I'm excited to see how he handles Soldier Field conditions as well, considering he is snapping the ball. But overall, the offensive line is performing really well. They've only had 1 sack so far this preseason. I'm excited to see what they put together, and it's going to be a good time. And then finally, from a tight end perspective, we have Cole Kmet last week, who had a good game against the Buffalo Bills, and expect to see the same with him, considering James Aldrin's offense is super tight end friendly. Quickly going into the defense, Kyler Gordon and Tyreek Stevenson are back and will play this upcoming Saturday. Massive to have these guys back, as I think that we have a very solid defensive back group, in my personal opinion, the number 1 unit in the NFL. If these guys can gel together, get things going, stay healthy, and get that excitement and put on the field what we expect to see this season, Bears fans are going to get super duper hyped, and I'm excited for another big game from the defensive back room. Quick comment, Dom Robb, I'm looking out for him as well. And on top of it, James Hardy. There's a lot of guys that are fighting to make this roster, guys, and we're going to see a lot of it, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And from an injuries perspective, Jaquan Brisker is questionable, but usually he plays when he is questionable. So lots of Bears information there, and I'm excited to break that down for you. And before I get more into today's episode, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, BetUS.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
BetUS online sportsbook and casino, where you can find so many different betting options, especially for the Chicago Bears, is offering you guys right now a 125% match bonus up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. Make sure to go to the link in the description now and sign up through there. And if you have an account, I might be sending you randomly $25 in free bets, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. So some predictions. I think there's going to be some roster bubble stuff going on here at Soldier Field this upcoming Saturday, as we are getting closer to the season and we need to start cutting down the roster. In my personal opinion, Dante Pettis is a roster bubble guy at the moment. He's a veteran, but cap casualty. And on top of it, we have a ton of return guys right now that are on contract for a couple of years and we can pay a lot less. Not only that, said it earlier, but Travis Homer as well. And then, yes, Velus Jones Jr. is still a roster bubble guy. He just can't seem to work really well anywhere without making a mistake when he is given the opportunity. And I think the patience of coaches has started to become a little bit slim, so something to look out for. From a Bengals perspective, I don't think they're going 100%. These guys are just banged up left and right from all depth perspective on this roster. So this team has a lot of potential, but we'll see what Zach Taylor ends up doing. He does need to get some rust off the guys. Hopefully the Bengals get healthy soon because, man, they just can't catch a break right now. And then finally, the score. I'm going to go into the score. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be 31-17 at the end of the day. I think the Bears starters being out there versus the twos are going to create a lot of competition and also put up a lot of points on the board. So excited to see that. And before I get into the final comments of today, I'd like to introduce our new segment, Fantasy on the Fly with Dan Richmond.
Hi, I'm Dan Richmond, and this is Fantasy on the Fly, talking Chicago Bears fantasy players and a little bit more. Caleb Williams, will he be a fantasy starter? Hey, the key is simple. Shane Waldron and Flus need to let this kid loose. We know he could sling it, and he has the weapons. I predict Caleb Williams will be a fantasy starter by week 7. Who's going to be the most valuable fantasy Bear? I think it'll be DeAndre Swift. Swift coming off of a great season in Philly with over 1,000 yards and 5 scores. I predict 1,100 yards for DeAndre Swift and at least 7 touchdowns. We all know Christian McCaffrey is going to be the number 1 pick in most fantasy leagues. The big question is, who's number 2? I believe it'll be Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill in his second season in Miami, almost 1,800 yards and 13 scores. I predict he'll have the same type of stats again this year. And this is Fantasy on the Fly.
Dan is going to be bringing fantasy highlights of both the Bears and the NFL as a whole this season in a 1-minute segment during our Friday episode. So make sure you listen in and share your thoughts on Dan's thoughts in the comment section below. Overall, excited for today's game, and I hope you guys are too, or Saturday's game, but I'm super excited about it. But again, thank you as always for this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. I'll be live streaming the second half of the game, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But with that, thank you as always for tuning in, and bear down, baby.